Well, needless to say, this was a huge, huge win for our team. We've gone through a lot of adversity over the past week and a half, and to be able to come here on short rest against a team that we, really respect, their talent and their coaching, and you're on the road, one of the tougher venues to play in, and they've been sitting around they've had 8 days off to prepare for us. We were out at the East Coast, had a real dogfight of a game at Rutgers Thursday night. We had really minimal prep for this game, and just a testament to these guys' will, man. And we had a lineup on the floor maybe the last 8 to 10 minutes of the first half that I never in my wildest imaginations thought that would be on the floor at Indiana in a late season game that we needed to win. But credit to those guys, man. When Boo and Brooks were in foul trouble, Ryan was in there with Matt. We had Nick and Blake Smith and Justin Mullins. I thought that stretch of the game, for us to go to half up 8, was a huge stretch of the game. And then, I thought we played really well in the second half, got the lead to 16, and then give Indiana credit. They scattered the game a little bit. We made some mistakes. We missed a couple layups. They hit a couple threes. Now all of a sudden you're in a game and the crowd's in it, which makes the game pressure really big. This guy stepped up, I think made 6 big free throws. Boo made 4 out of 6. And obviously Brooks, they cut it to 3. There's a lot of game pressure. You got to go up and at least hit 1, and that was a big free throw to seal the game. So huge win for us. Really proud of these guys. Road wins are precious in this league. Guys, it's crazy in the Big Ten this year. I think they just said on the radio there's only been like 30 wins on the road out of over 100 games, which is crazy how hard it is to win on the road. And we're going to cherish this one. We're going to get ourselves rested up and get home and get ready for the next.
First question right here.
The second chance opportunities for you guys, it's pretty much just how you guys were able to get yourself back into it. How important is that, especially throughout the entire rest of the game?
Yeah, whenever you can get a second chance to make a bucket, it's huge. It makes them have to play defense longer, it makes them get more tired, and lets us set up so they don't get a second look at things. So whenever you can get that offensive rebound and get that second look, you gotta just capitalize on it. It's like free basketball right there.
Yeah. And one of the things, they have one of the elite shot blockers in the country, in Khalil Ware. And what happens a lot with an elite shot blocker is he's coming over to block everything. And one of the things we talked about with our bigs was, guys, be ready on the backside, because if he isn't able to block the shot and the shot is missed, you're a free rebounder on the backside. And I thought that was a big reason Matt, had free reign when he was coming over to block shots, to be able to get to the offensive board and get 7 big ones. But 14 offensive rebounds is huge, and then only turn it over 3 times. Those are 2 huge stats to the game.
Matt?
For Ryan, 26 points in 40 minutes, tying your career high, your most at Northwestern. Outside of the tournament last season, do you think this is the best game you've ever played?
That's a tough question to answer, but I don't know. It was big because we needed this one. Coming off of the Rutgers game, came in here, we had to get one. So I think it was just important, and I got to give credit to those guys that he was talking about earlier, because they made my job easy in that first half. Coming off ball screens, they were all hitting shots and playing so well on defense. So I can't take credit for that. I have to give it to them.
And then when Brooks and Boo got into that early foul trouble, you have to become the focal point of the offense. What was your thought process like, and what were conversations like with Coach, knowing you had to take that last 7 minutes?
Yeah, he talks to all of us about just letting it rip, kind of be aggressive, make plays. Don't worry about, obviously take care of the ball, but you got to put pressure on the defense and take what they're giving you. So just trying to take advantage of some drop coverage stuff and make plays out of it.
To the front.
Coach Nick had his first career double-double today. He was all over the floor, providing lots of plays. What have you seen from him in practice these last couple of weeks and last month or so?
Well, Nick's a baller, and I said coming into the year, I knew he was going to be an integral part. I really thought he was going to have to take on a role with our team last year, kind of that Brooks played. Brooks was our 6th man last year, but he ended up playing starters minutes and kind of came off the bench and subbed for everybody and kind of had that kind of similar impact. I envisioned that for Nick coming into the year, and he was hurt early in the season. He had a broken foot early and kind of got him off to a slow start. But as he's gotten healthy and as he's gotten back, he's just unique. He's got good size. Lefties kind of got that herky jerky game, and he's got those floaters, and he's shooting the ball now with more confidence. I thought he hit a huge three in front of our bench when they were trying to make a run. But he's not afraid. He's a baller. He's played in big games. He's not afraid of the moment. He now has to step into more of a major role now with Ty being out. And one of the things that it's really done for us, I think, is really elevated our rebounding. Having Nick out there, him and Matt getting 29 rebounds. And then Brooks is going to rebound, and Ryan maybe sometimes is going to rebound. But, it's just given us some more size on our front line, and I think it's really helped, take away some other teams' second chance points against us.
Jake?
Coach, you mentioned often this season how this team will go as far as Matthew Nicholson will take them. His first career double-double today, how vital was his performance out there, and how did it sort of transcend the stat sheet as well?
Yeah, it was awesome. And Matty, probably the last month or so, Matty, again, kind of he'd be the first to tell you, a little bit slower start to the season, kind of getting him. He had some injury issues he was going through that kind of, he wasn't in peak condition, and he's really worked hard to get himself back in that kind of shape where he's running the floor and moving, and it's good to see him getting back. That was shades of last year, seeing him get those slip dunks. He's moving a lot better. I think because of that, his confidence is growing. His little jump hook there at the end of the game was one of the bigger shots of the game. But he's just he's our presence. We need his physicality. He protects our basket with shot blocking. He's an elite rebounder. Everybody on our team knows how important Matt is to us, and we're not going to win against high-level opponents if he doesn't play at a high level. Boo and Brooks, some of these guys, and some nights he doesn't have the numbers, but it's not about the stats with Matt. It's about his presence on the floor. And I really feel like this last month of the season, he's starting to really play at a high level, which has been great for us.
Coach, you mentioned the run in the first half that you made after Boo got in foul trouble, and you guys were only up by 1 point when he checked out, and that was really when you pulled away and established that sort of lead. How were you able to do that with him on the bench?
Well, first and foremost, I thought the defense was awesome during that stretch. I thought Ryan and Nick during that stretch kind of kept us afloat offensively. I felt like those two guys were kind of the ones scoring. But I thought our defense, I thought Blake Smith and Justin coming in, they're 2 6'5" athletic kids, they have length. I thought they were able to create some havoc. We got some turnovers. Obviously I think we picked up a couple fouls on Renil during that stretch to get him to 3 fouls, so he could never really be the factor that he could be, such a great player. But there's no question, that stretch of the game, Boo, you're up 1, Boo goes to the bench with 2 fouls, and then Brooks gets his second. And now as a coach, you're like, man, we just got to, and I'm not a coach that sits guys the whole half. Like, I was going to put those guys back in if need be. But that group played so well, and we kept the lead, that it enabled us to rest those guys the rest of the half.
Matt? Coach, I think when Ryan came in as a transfer, a lot of people saw him as kind of like a spot-up shooter, floor spacer. Then he had 26 points, 0 turnovers. Again, kind of ran that offense for that stretch. Did you see these kind of games as a possibility when you recruited him?
Yeah, just put that Creighton film on from the Sweet 16, man. He's or the Arizona game or the Missouri game. He did it at the highest level with the biggest stakes on the line in the NCAA tournament. And I knew he could really shoot the ball. Fortunately for me too, I have a lot of contacts. My first boss, Tommy Amaker, is the head coach at Harvard. And I called Tommy, and I had already loved Ryan, and he said, man, one of the biggest mistakes was me not recruiting Ryan and letting him get to Princeton. He said, and he was the first one to tell me, he said, you're going to be pleasantly surprised with that he can do a lot more than just catch and shoot. He can play in pick and roll. He's got a savviness to him with his passing. I thought he had a couple great dump-offs, with Matt today, hit Matt on a slip. 6 assists, no turns, had to play a lot of point guard today with Boo on the bench. So we knew what we were getting, man. I was, the day he said he was coming to Northwestern, I was jumping for joy because he was what we needed. With the way our team was constructed, we needed what Ryan could bring, and because of his personality, it's been a seamless fit. It's not always easy with the grad transfers because it's kind of a quick marriage, but he's fit in since day one, and obviously he really knows his value to this team, and we're going to need more of this as we head to these last 5 regular season games.
Time for a couple more. Aisha?
Yeah, Matt, obviously the team kind of struggled from beyond the arc in the first half. How were you able to kind of stay involved in the interior, especially the team kind of shooting struggle?
Yeah, when it comes to me, it comes to me. I don't really have any plays really drawn up for me.
That's not true.
Well, I know.
Slip plays.
Uh,
Wants to keep it a secret.
But I just try to do as much as I can. Like Coach just said, a lot of the dump offs that got to me, I just was able to finish those in the first half when we were struggling and get stops on the defensive end, which helped us a lot.
Last question. Ryan, can you talk about the emotional swing across 2 games of going from a frustrating game where you got thrown out and probably felt like you could have helped to today where you tie a career high in points and play a major role in a big road win?
Yeah, I mean, that was the first time I've ever been ejected in my life. That was a weird feeling. But, yeah, it hurt to be in the locker room and watching these guys battle and not being able to help. And at least, I mean, came to this game and probably felt the best I've felt all season after all that rest. So, but, I mean, at the end of the day, it was just we knew we had to get this one, and it's no different than any other one. We have to leave everything on the line. I just try to do that.
All right, that'll wrap us up.
Thank you, guys.